have, and they've got a ton of speed on that football team, and they're well coached, execute well. So that time's yours.
Coach, this has been, I guess, kind of a weird time for you guys to have had this much time off from some of these games. How have you kind of handled that, and what do you feel when you see the guys here, like their willingness to get out and work and all that?
Yeah, sure. They've got good attitude, players. They were in last week and did a nice job with that. And even on the days off, a lot of them came in. So, but want to make sure we gave them a little time for recovery. But they're excited to go. They know they're playing a good football team. So they're excited.
What do you remember about that divisional round game against the Texans back in 2019 and being down 24-0, and what was kind of going through your mind at that point?
Yeah, we didn't start off very well, that's for sure. And they were playing well. I was proud of our guys for kind of regathering together, and coaches and players, and trusting each other enough to come back. And we were able to do that, but first half wasn't very good.
Coach, from the AFC, the ultimate destination is New Orleans, and of course that's where the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl, and Hank Stram had the navy blue blazer at that time. How much, when you broke out the navy blue blazer at the Super Bowl last year, how much do those traditional things mean to you?
Yeah, listen, I've got to give credit to Brett Veach on that. He set it up. We've worn it a couple times. Wore the red one too. Didn't have a lot of success with that one, but I love the history of the game. Obviously, there was a ton of history here, so I love that part of it. Kind of grew up. I was a big Mike Garrett fan, so I followed the Chiefs, and those were special years for sure.
Andy, given just your love of the history of the game, is there any part of you that allowed yourself the appreciation of what you're trying to accomplish this postseason?
Yeah, Sam, you don't ever go there. You're kind of tunneled in here, just trying to find another play that possibly works, or another, defensive play that works, or special teams guys are doing that part. And it's a weird dynamic that way. You don't ever look at that stuff. You're just ingrained in trying to make sure you get communicated and see enough tape, but communicate with the players and teach them and so on. Yeah.
Were you purposeful with the players in that way too, to ensure that they had that mindset, whether it was back in OTAs or whenever it might have been?
Yeah, I haven't heard them say much about it. So I'm sure if I would have heard something that I felt like they were looking ahead or whatever, I'd remind them. But there hasn't been any need to do that. They've been pretty focused in all year. I mean, they know how I roll. I mean, they're around me all the time, so I don't ever go there. Yeah.
Coach, we know that Jalen Watson did a good job getting himself ahead of schedule. What's your optimism level for his potential return?
Yeah, I kind of want to see this week, see how he does. But what I've seen so far, it's been good. He's in good shape, and I'm not telling you he can play a whole game, but he sure, I think he has a chance of playing. Yeah, we'll see.
What catches your eye most about Texans defense, especially how they contain Herbert?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that jumps out at you is speed. That front can run. We didn't have a chance to play against Zero last year, or last time we played him a couple weeks back. And he's fast also as a linebacker, and he's kind of their main play caller there. So, but he can, the speed of the D-line, the linebackers just jump out at you. And they're real good. The hands of the secondary, those guys, they catch the ball. You don't see a lot of bobbles or drops or that. If you're presenting it close, they can go up and snag it.
Coach, I know that you preach all the time cleaning things up and all that. You guys have done a great job of cleaning turnovers and all that stuff up. I know there's different things you can do to hopefully have that continue, but sometimes on things like that, is it just a little bit of luck? Ball bouncing your way or not bouncing your way, or is it something you feel like you really can control a certain amount of?
Yeah, there's some of it you can. I mean, obviously, the ball's not round, right? So that thing bounces a little crazy sometimes. So those, you kind of go, all right, that happened. But some of these things you can focus on, keeping the ball high and tight, not letting it get off your body. The throws, the routes that you call for the throws. Those are all things that you have some control over.
Blair? Andy, just what's the thought on left tackle and DJ or Joe?
Yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes this week. I'm gonna rotate them, and so it gives us some flexibility there. But I was happy with what Joe and Mike did in there. But I also liked what DJ did, and some of those snaps that he had, and there weren't a lot of them, but the snaps that he had against Denver.
When you say rotate, you mean rotate at practice, right?
Yeah, in practice, yeah. And we'll just see. We'll see how it goes.
Coach, Patrick has a new addition to his family. You watched him from number 1 to now number 3. As a father yourself, do you feel like it's gotten easier for him to be able to manage it all?
Yeah, I think he does great with it. He came in as Patrick 2 p.m. Now he's, right, Patrick 3 p.m. So he's got, once you have 3, 4 and 5 are easy. That's what I told him. So that was, well, you've made 3. You add a couple more, we'll talk.
I don't know if Britt would agree.
True.
Andy, we're talking Xavier in a little bit. Just with all rookies in general, just wonder the process of knowing that they're going to struggle at times over the course of the season, but allowing them to play through that.
So what was the first part of it?
We're talking to Xavier in a little
Yeah.
bit. I just wondered what
Yeah.
the process. Obviously, he had a stretch during the season where I'm sure it wasn't as good as what he wanted to be, but just allowing him to play through that.
Yeah. So you could see the talent. He's a smart kid. You could see the talent. It was a matter of time. He saw that with Rasheed the year before. We've seen it with a bunch of receivers over time. So as long as they're willing to work, smart, and have the skill he has, obviously, but you just hang with it and they'll work through it. They've got to see it. Get kind of those main defenses down and the reads and the routes and all that. So he's done a nice job with all that.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Okay, good.
There are only 7 games left in the NFL season, including Super Bowl 59 on February 9th at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in New Orleans. This weekend is the divisional round, which I think is the best weekend of the season. It's when the top 8 teams are supposedly still in the running. This year I think they really are, and it's also the last weekend with games on 2 days. On Saturday, the first game is Houston vs. Chiefs, a rematch of a game played about a month ago, which the Chiefs won 27-19. In the second game, Jaden Daniels and the Commanders visit the Detroit Lions. Interestingly, the Lions and Texans are the only 2 teams left that have never been to a Super Bowl. The other 2 games on Sunday include the Eagles hosting the Rams. The 2 teams with the most playoff appearances among the 8 remaining teams. In the final game of the divisional round, the Ravens visit the Bills. Back in Week 4, the Ravens easily defeated the Bills 35-10 at home. The matchup between these 2 MVP candidates promises to be the most entertaining of the 4 matchups. Interestingly, the same 4 AFC teams that reached this stage last year are back, although the pairings are different. Last season, the Ravens had MVP Lamar Jackson, who this year has even better quarterback stats, the best record in the league, and led his team to eliminate the Texans in the divisional round. This came on the heels of rookie C.J. Stroud's similarly underdog win over the Browns in the wild card round, as well as last Saturday's win over the Chargers. In the other game, the Chiefs defeated the Bills 27-24 with 2 touchdowns from Travis Kelce. This year, we could see a rematch of last season's AFC Championship game, which I predict will happen. The difference this time is that the game will be played in Kansas City. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's enjoy these exciting matchups first. It will be only the second time since the divisions were last realigned in 2002 that the same 4 teams will reach the divisional round in consecutive seasons. The first and only time was in 2012 and 2013 when Tom Brady's New England Patriots, Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos, Joe Flacco's Baltimore Ravens and J. What's Houston Texans accomplished the feat the Patriots lost the Super Bowl in 2012, while the Ravens won it in 2013. In the other game, the Chiefs defeated the Bills 27-24 with 2 touchdowns from Travis Kelce. This year, we could see a rematch of last season's AFC Championship game, which I predict will happen. The difference this time is that the game will be played in Kansas City. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's enjoy these exciting matchups first. It will be only the second time since the divisions were last realigned in 2002 that the same 4 teams will reach the divisional round in consecutive seasons. The first and only time was in 2012 and 2013 when Tom Brady's New England Patriots, Peyton Manning's Denver Broncos, Joe Flacco's Baltimore Ravens and J.J. Watt's Houston Texans accomplished the feat the Patriots lost the Super Bowl in 2012, while the Ravens won it in 2013. After winning franchise record 15 games this season, the Kansas City Chiefs won their 9th consecutive AFC West title. They also clinched the number 1 seed in AFC, securing an first-round bye and a home field advantage in the playoffs. Next up, the Chiefs host the Houston Texans in the AFC Divisional round. The Texans advanced after crushing the Los Angeles Chargers 31-12 at NRG Stadium in the wild card round. Reid revealed that everyone on the active roster is expected to participate in today's practice in some capacity, including cornerback Jalen Watson, who had his 21-day window is opened. "I'm not telling you he can play a whole game, but I think he has a chance of playing," Reid said of Watson. "We'll see." The injury bug hit the Chiefs hard and early this season, but the team is getting healthy at the perfect time. When asked about the possibility of winning a historic Super Bowl three-peat, a goal Kansas City announced after becoming back-to-back champions last season, Reid made it clear they're taking it one game at a time. "You don't ever go there," he said. "You're tunneled in. You're trying to find another play that works. It's a weird dynamic. You're just ingrained in trying to communicate with players and trying to teach." The Chiefs defeated the Texans 27-16 at Arrowhead Stadium in Week 16.